Hello, and welcome to the Thyroid Warrior Podcast. I'm Ebony, and I'm here as your wellness facilitator. I'm going to be sharing my experiences in managing Hashimoto's disease. I really hope that it'll help you on your personal journey. Keep in mind, however, this does not substitute for medical advice. It is only for your information and motivational purposes only. Now, let's get started. Hello, friends. So ready for this week, even though half of the time I don't know what day it is. So I have to be very honest in that there have been so many moments in which my brain is just all over the place because I don't necessarily have that standard routine in terms of leaving my home and coming back. I do, however, have a routine in terms of what time I get up in the morning, what time I go to bed, what am I doing during the day, when do I fit in exercise? And I do try to make sure that I have that together, but outside of that, not so much. But one of the goals that I have for the next couple of weeks, since it appears as though in this time our stay-at-home orders in terms of COVID-19 aren't going to be lifted anytime soon, I also wanted to start working on how do I make sure that I'm keeping my brain alert and attentive and functioning at its best, because I find that due to the anxiety that I had when all of this really started to come about, is I noticed that I started forgetting things. And this past week, what I had to do was sit down and plan out everything and organize myself and just bring all of my tasks together. And now I feel a lot better. So if you have not tried Trello, Trello, I highly recommend it because it just allows you to just throw your brain onto this online application in which you can just organize yourself with cards and tasks. And it's basically a really pretty way of organizing things. But check it out for yourself. I definitely enjoy using them for everything that I do, but more so now because at work, I'm now leading a huge project and I have to make sure I stay on task for that while managing a team, while managing everything else going on outside of work. And also just while maintaining a good relationship with you guys, because that's really important to me. And I take a lot of time to make sure that even if you reach out on social media, that I'm replying to you and providing you that support that you also need, because I'm here to serve you. And because I get you and you get me, I wanted to talk about brain fog. And we all know that when your thyroid is not working well and things just aren't where they need to be, that brain fog comes down in one fell swoop and all of a sudden you don't know what's going on. And because cognitively, we're not necessarily establishing those same neural connections because we're not leaving home, and we lose that spatial identification of things. We lose that relationship. We lose that routine. And so it becomes very challenging for us then to really and truly process a lot. So one of the things that I had to really dial back into is my diet. So make sure that you're filling up on your omega-3s. And for example, that is your fatty fish, your olive oil, avocado, nuts, seeds, if you do not consume animal protein. And really, what's so interesting to me is that I forget that our brain, 60% of it almost is made up of fat. And we have to make sure that we're really and truly fueling ourselves with the good kind of fat. And I don't know about you, but when I wasn't eating all that great, I felt it and I felt sluggish. And as soon as I started cleaning up my diet and actually eating all of those quote unquote brain foods, that's when I realized, oh, this is legit. Let me keep working on this because I liked feeling better. I liked being able to be clear and focused, and it was just such an amazing thing. So not only do you want to make sure that you're getting your omega-3s, but you also want to make sure that you're getting the appropriate B vitamins. When it comes to your B vitamins, you want to think about having your beans and things like sunflower seeds and your dark leafy vegetables, whole grains, or even nutritional yeast. Again, depending on if you're plant-based, I'd like to make sure that I give you those options as well, in addition to your chicken, your beef, and avocados and liver and eggs. So those things are also important. But guess what, guys? Even as you're consuming these types of foods for brain health, you're also providing a healthy downstream effect for everything else. And one of the amazing things about becoming a holistic nutritionist is also recognizing that the more fruits and vegetables, the more whole grains that we actually introduce to our bodies, the better off we start to feel. And I just want to empower and encourage you this week. I challenge you to try one more serving of vegetables. They don't have to be organic. What you really just want to focus on, especially during this time, is just small modifications. Nothing major, nothing drastic, just small. So I'm challenging you to eat one more serving of vegetables or fruit this week. It could be both. Totally fine. You can tag me at Joyful Ebony on all social media platforms so that I can see your extra serving. And I just want you to even think about just drinking more water as well, because that's totally important. And a lot of times I'm asked, well, what's the right amount of water? And we all know that a lot of times you hear drink half your body weight in ounces for water, but I always challenge my clients to start small. Again, work up to the amount of water that your body needs. So for example, when I started drinking more water, what I also just so happened to have done is I went to the dermatologist because I was having some issues with my skin, and she politely reminded me how much other organs are using that water, and your skin is often the last one to benefit from that. And she told me, she said, Ebony, you probably need to drink more water than what you're doing. And that is also contributing to the fact that your skin is really dry and you're also kind of fuzzy. So just because you think you're doing well, this is what my doctor was telling me, you also have to consider your skin is one of the largest organs in your body or on your body or however you want to approach it. So you have to make sure that you're fueling it as well, keeping in mind when you're exercising, or let's just say you have an upset stomach and you either vomit or you have diarrhea, you're going to lose fluids that way. So you just want to make sure that you're doing yourself a good service by introducing more water. And that is something we all struggle with because 9 times out of 10, most of us at any given point in time are dehydrated, believe it or not. So work on just adding 1 more cup of water a day. The other thing that I really enjoy are blueberries. They are, hands down, one of my favorite fruit, and they are a nutrition powerhouse. They have so many antioxidants in them. They protect our body from all kinds of things, and I highly encourage you to try some blueberries, whether it's in your oatmeal or in a smoothie. I can't say enough good things about blueberries. But now, we're talking about diet. We also have to consider our day-to-day. So know that I'm always about helping you live a happy, healthy, and joy-filled life through food, fitness, and fun. And the fun part is always, how are you living your life? And many of us are also not getting enough sleep, and we're also not playing enough. So I know, I hear you. You're probably saying, I'm an adult, I'm not a child. Why do I need to play? And when I say play, I don't necessarily mean running and going to play hide and go seek, which if you do that with your children, that's fantastic. But it also means doing the things that you love to do. Do you craft? Do you draw? Do you paint? Do you like to sing? Do you like to crochet or yarn? How do you, and when I say yarn, I meant to say knit, but how do you allow your mind to just wander? Do you like to garden? What are those things that bring you joy, that make you happy? And naturally, when you start to do more of those things, you start to feel more energetic and you have more energy. And ironically, that makes it a lot easier to fall asleep. Because so often, and I don't know if you experience this, but because I have so much going on in my mind and I'm trying to process 1,000,001 things at a time, giving myself that creative outlet allows me to calm down. And in some cases, I'm busy with my hands, which I love to do, but also I get that energy out. So as a result of doing that, I can now breathe easier, I can relax, and it's 10 times easier for me to go to sleep, which the last couple of weeks, while it's been a really tough time for us, it's also been a really big blessing because I've been able to actually fall asleep and get more restful sleep because I'm doing the things that I love to do and I'm playing a lot more, which, side note, just so you guys know, this episode is coming out on a Thursday. Friday, I am actually going to be opening a handmade shop of homemade body products. So that's body butters, body salves, creams, scrubs, bath salts. I'm super excited about that because I also realize that I want to give other people the opportunity to learn how to slow down. And this is my way of helping you to be able to do that. So tomorrow, depending on if you're catching this in real time, if not, you can go to joyfulebony.com/homemade and you will be able to take a look at my shop of goods. Moving on, however, we're also going to talk about other methods of keeping us clear and focused. So I definitely love to go for a walk. It is also how I process information, but also I love essential oils. And for me, I have a diffuser going in most of the rooms in my home, but I love peppermint oil because it really helps to just lift me up and wake me up. And it's super cool, but it's also been found to help with your memory and being alert and to just help your mood, which many of us need on a day-to-day basis because you're just going and going and going. And lavender is also another one of my favorite essential oils. And we all know because it helps us to sleep and it can help with headaches, but it can also just do a very good job of calming us down. And also it helps to reduce my anxiety and headaches because let's face it, we're staring at screens a lot more. And sometimes I will get a carrier oil. Sometimes I'll use olive or sunflower or even avocado and grapeseed oil. And I just put like maybe 2 or 3 drops of lavender and 2 drops of peppermint because it's a pretty strong oil. And I rub that together and go to town on my temples just to get rid of that headache. And it works like a charm. I love it. Definitely do a skin test though, because again, peppermint is a very strong oil and you might just need 1 drop. It just depends. So always test on the inside part of your arm first to make sure that you won't get any kind of skin irritation from using essential oils because they are very concentrated and I don't want you to harm yourself. And the last oil, which a lot of people associate with cooking, is rosemary. I diffuse rosemary a lot, and it also helps with your mood and memory. And it's just one of those oils that really kind of just rejuvenates you. And I actually have rosemary and lavender going in my diffuser. And you might be saying, well, you just said it's invigorating, and then you said the lavender is calming, but it, for me, gives me that like perfect balance of getting a little bit more pep in my step, but also being just easygoing. And it takes that slight edge off. And I just love taking care of myself in that way, because I didn't always used to do that. So I want to encourage you today to do the same thing and start small. Like I said, start with 1 serving of fruit or vegetables this week, as well as increase your water intake by 1 cup. You will know, for example, with the water that you're getting enough, because the more you drink, you'll actually, when you go to urinate, your urine will be clear, but you want it to be slightly pale yellow, because if it's really clear, then your body may not be absorbing it and actually using it as effectively as it should in order to filter out things and clean out your system. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're trying to figure out how much water is too much. So with that, I wanted to impart those small suggestions for you. As always, I am at Joyful Ebony on all social media platforms, and you can send me a note. Let me know how you're doing at hello@joyfulebony.com, and I will talk to you guys next week, and take care. Okay, thyroid warriors, get out there and take things one step at a time. Remember, be great, reflect on your triumphs, and as always, be well. Take care.